Welcome back to Daily Grind, the only podcast where hypocrisy doesn't get fact-checked, it gets bulldozed. Today's grind, Trump activates the National Guard in Washington, D.C., and the media acts like Darth Vader just marched down Pennsylvania Avenue. Oh no, how dare he enforce the law? You know, the thing presidents are literally supposed to do, and are sworn to do. So let's talk about it, because it isn't the first time troops were called into D.C., not even close. Democrats have been doing it for decades, and nobody said a damn word.
This is Daily Grind. I don't do safe topics, trigger warnings, or corporate-friendly bullshit. No subject is off limits. Political, true crime, history, or whatever else gets the gears grinding in your head. I grind into reality like it owes me rent.
So the Trump administration already reporting success after deploying the National Guard and federal agents to help police the streets of D.C.
You don't say success. I mean, how dare we be a country of law? Why wouldn't we want to just be a country of lawlessness? I mean, come on, get the fuck out of here. On August 11th, 2025, Trump dropped the hammer. 800 National Guard troops deployed to D.C. Police federalized under his control for 30 days. The media lost their fucking minds. CNN basically turned into a soap opera. Anchors gasping, clutching pearls, and fanning themselves like they just watched The Notebook for the first time. Let's be clear, he didn't declare martial law, which is where the military basically takes over. He didn't replace the mayor with a MAGA hat mannequin. He didn't install the Proud Boys as traffic cops. He simply said, hey, maybe our nation's capital shouldn't look like a Joker movie set. Meanwhile, most people, they say, cool, maybe now I can finally go out to dinner downtown without getting jacked.
Republicans say D.C. residents deserve to live and work in a safe city.
Well, of course, they want to live and work in a safe city. Who wouldn't agree with that? Let's talk about the numbers, because the media sure as hell won't. In 2023, D.C. hit its highest homicide total in 2 decades, more than 270 murders. That's not a statistic, that's a war zone. 2024 dipped. Yes, homicides dropped by about 35% from 2023. But let's be honest, that's because people got the hell out of DC. You can't rob or shoot people if there aren't enough people left to rob or shoot. As of mid-2025, crime is technically down compared to the last year. Homicides down 11%, robbery down 30%, violent crime overall down 26%. Sounds nice, right? But compared to 10 years ago, DC is still a crime Disneyland. Carjackings through the roof. Assaults, they're as common as pigeons. Property crime, basically a tourist tax. That's like bragging you cut your house fire from 4 rooms down to 2. Congratulations, but the house is still burning. Carjackings in DC are so common, hurts to just add them to the insurance policy. Violent crime down 26%, great. So now instead of getting mugged twice this week, it's only once. Progress. DC doesn't need a mayor, it needs Batman. And since Batman's busy, Trump will do. The way the media is talking, you'd think Trump invented the National Guard. Presidents, mayors, and governors have been calling out troops for centuries. And Democrats, they've practically written the goddamn playbook. Let's go through some history, because apparently nobody remembers it unless it fits their narrative. 1932. Thousands of World War I veterans camped in D.C., demanding their bonuses. What did President Hoover do? Send in troops, tanks, and cavalry, led by General Douglas MacArthur. They literally bayoneted veterans and burned their camps. Democrats screamed then, but when FDR used troops later, they applauded. So yeah, troops chasing veterans out of tents, leadership, troops keeping carjackers off your block, dictatorship. 1968. The MLK riots. After Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, riots ripped through D.C. Lyndon B. Johnson sent 13,600 federal troops and 1,750 National Guard troops. Tanks rolled down the streets. Nearly 13,600 arrests were made in days. The press called it restoring order. Nobody called Lyndon B. Johnson a dictator, so apparently it's only democracy when Democrats send tanks down 14th Street. How about 1971, the Mayday anti-war protests? Protesters shut down bridges, roads, fucking everything. Nixon sent 12,000 troops and 1,500 National Guard troops. They arrested 12,000 people in 3 days, the largest mass arrest in U.S. history. Did the Democrats call it fascism? No, they fucking applauded, because their limos had to get to the Capitol somehow. Mass arrests are fine when it's hippies with guitars, unacceptable when it's criminals with guns. 1989, the D.C. drug war. Crack cocaine tore through D.C., murders spiked. President George H.W. Bush launched Operation Clean Sweep, deploying guard units to support D.C. police. Democrats didn't just agree, they demanded more. They said Bush wasn't tough enough, so troops fighting crack dealers, common sense. Troops fighting carjackers, tyranny. Does this make sense to you? Yes, President George H.W. Bush was a Republican, but the Democrats agreed with it. So because they agreed with it, it's okay. But they don't agree with Trump just because he's Trump. 1992, the Los Angeles riots. After the Rodney King verdict, LA burned. Bush deployed 4,500 Army and Marines, plus 1,500 federal law enforcement. Bill Clinton praised the move and called it leadership. Bill Clinton was all for Marines in the streets, but Trump sending 800 guard troops, that equals dictatorship. Someone hand Hillary a fainting couch. Because again, it's just because it's Trump. 2005, Hurricane Katrina. When Katrina flooded New Orleans, thousands of guard troops came in under federal orders. Democratic leaders begged for more. Nobody called it tyranny. They called it leadership. So it's fine to militarize a hurricane, but not fine to militarize a crime wave. 2020. After the George Floyd protests, D.C. looked like Baghdad in 2020. 3,000 National Guard troops patrolled. Reinforcements came from 11 states. Over 30 states deployed the National Guard. Half of them, Democrats.
Alright, seriously, guys?
Yeah,
I mean,
you
really,
heard that. Democrats. Did anyone scream dictatorship? Nope, they called it public safety. Military trucks are adorable when they're outside of Nancy Pelosi's house, but terrifying when Trump orders them onto Pennsylvania Avenue.
Wow, the land of make-believe.
And I'm gonna keep going.
But wait! There's more!
After the January 6th insurrection.
Incited the erection.
After January 6th, Democrats demanded 25,000 National Guard troops in D.C. 25,000. Pelosi called it a beautiful sight of security, but Trump sends 800 and it's suddenly the Fourth Reich? Please. 25,000 troops for Congress equals beautiful. 800 troops for taxpayers? Dictatorship.
Alright,
Got
seriously,
it.
guys? I mean,
Let's
really,
cut the shit.
sucks.
Trump isn't the first president to call in the National Guard. He isn't even close. He's just the first one to get crucified for it. Because he's Donald Trump. And going back to 2012, I remember my unit being activated for Hurricane Sandy. And there was a Democrat in office, Barack Obama. And the governor in the state that I lived in was also a Democrat. But Trump doesn't sugarcoat it with unity speeches. Democrats have been doing this since before your grandma was born. But Trump, when he does it, it's authoritarianism. Hypocrisy, right? If enforcing laws makes you a dictator, then half of American presidents should have been wearing crowns. The National Guard isn't new. The only thing new is who's ordering them. And the media cannot fucking stand it. DC isn't just any city. It's the capital of the free world. Or at least it's supposed to be. But under weak leadership, it turns into a showcase of urban rot. Restaurants close early. Families don't go downtown. Tourists feel like extras in The Purge. Trump did what every mayor and president should have done years ago. Enforce the fucking law. That's the end of the story. It's not complicated. It's just unpopular with the elites who live in the gated suburbs and only come downtown for a gala. If your city looks like a third world war zone, maybe you should thank Trump for treating it like one and cleaning it up. DC doesn't need more ribbon cutting ceremonies. It needs someone willing to cut off the chaos. And if enforcing the law offends you, maybe you're the criminal. Or just a retard. When Democrats fail, they call it compassion. When Trump fixes it, they call it tyranny. If order scares you more than chaos, you might be part of the problem. Trump's not killing democracy. He's keeping it alive long enough for you to complain about it. America's capital should not look like a failed sociology experiment. Trump didn't take over DC. He stepped in where politicians failed. That's not tyranny, that's leadership. If you want a lawless capital, pitch a tent in Portland. If you want a safe one, you need a president with the guts to say enough is enough, and back it up with the boots on the ground. And that's why people are losing their minds. Not because he's wrong, but because he's proving them wrong. You've been listening to Daily Grind, where enforcing laws is suddenly controversial, unless you've got a D after your name. See you next week here on Daily Grind. Like, share, subscribe, and all that crap.